Okay, back to part two. Yes, that was Ryan Lewis, everybody. We just solved the problems of the world. Okay, so the second part, back to the evil empire, Disney. Uh, so they began scaling back not only in materials, they began double and triple casting so that casts were smaller, touring casts of the same shows were smaller, people are losing their jobs, um, and doing more work again for less money. Suck. Suck. All right. Let me see if there's anything else I want to tell you about Disney. No, I'm done. And the last thing I want to talk about is the deconstruction of Broadway national tours. So it used to be in the 70s and 80s that actors, especially in musicals, preferred to be on tour than sit down because it paid more, and you got to travel, and everything was taken care of. So here's what happened. Um, there came a point where producers, of course, want to make more money because that's what producers do. They went to equity and they started um, negotiations saying, hey, could we cut back on the number of equity contracts? Could we do half and half? Could we? So as an experimental thing, equity okayed it. And this was in the, I'll say 1996 it began, and was in full swing till 2001, 2002. So it began as having all of the actors be equity and having crew members not be equity and having orchestra members not be union, which sucked because in our equity contracts, part of the thing when you're on a tour is that I always, and everyone I know always, you have a rider signed into your contract so that you get your own bus seat, you don't have to share. And the musicians rode on the same bus with us, of course. They didn't have the option, so they all had to sit, two seats together. They had to sit like that while the rest of us are sprawled out, enjoying a little more legroom, a little more comfort. And then during rehearsals, there were things like equity people take 10, everybody else keep going, which does not, as you know, promote goodwill in a company. So, along with this, as part of the experiment, producers said to equity, let us try lowering the wage just a little bit, but we'll keep a per diem for the actors. And at the time, there was a petition that was circulated for it. Remember, this affects, if it's successful, it influences all tours across the country. And at that point, they said, okay, let's not pay $1,000 a week and $800 per diem. Let's pay $800 a week and $600 per diem. Well, that's still $1,400. And there was a housing cap, so we didn't have to pay out of our per diem for housing. We just had to pay for food. So we figured we were probably coming out about the same. So, but now I kind of wish I hadn't signed that petition because the domino effect, which I'll tell you about later. Then it became like an avalanche. The producers kept saying, well, why don't we try this, and why don't we try this, and why don't we try this? Look how successful these tours are. And equity, unfortunately, conceded. caved and started giving little thing after little thing after little thing, so that it became not as good a deal. And then, of course, the trickle-down effect was producers are saying, well, look, we're just not going to hire equity people anymore. We're going to take these tours out with non-equity people. And Ryan and I can both tell you that doesn't always mean equity people are more talented. Usually means they have been around longer or have more experience at least. But if you're not part of equity, that means there is no minimum wage. They can pay whatever they want as long as you sign the contract. So, having done that, that meant that people who had been around for a while, who were seasoned performers and who were equity, couldn't be on those tours or didn't want to be on those tours because some of them would keep a few equity slots for big lead roles. And that meant that the caliber, as a general rule, the caliber of the performances of the tours went down. But the trick was the producers of the individual theaters on the circuits around the country were still charging the same amount, which meant the producers of the tours were making more money, and they were saying this is a professional company or the Broadway company. You know, like the Fisher does Broadway in Detroit. There's Broadway in Atlanta. So they were still billing it as Broadway veterans or implying that it was Broadway veterans when really they weren't. And they didn't, a lot of them didn't have their chops yet. And especially when there were older roles that needed to be cast, they were played by like 20-year-olds. I saw a tour of Guys and Dolls where Nathan Detroit was like 20 years old. And as you know, I got nothing against 20-year-olds. It's just that, you know, Nathan Detroit needs to be in his 40s at least. So all of those things worked together to lower the caliber. And finally, patrons got wise, and then they got pissed. And there were protests, and so then for a while, it cycled back to having real Broadway people, real equity members, so that they still had the Broadway in Detroit. But interestingly enough, history repeats itself. It happened about 5 years ago. Started doing the same damn thing. Tried to sneak it in under the radar. And after a particularly painful production of Lacage at the Fisher, myself and I talk about them all the time, the Glee Gays, we canceled our season tickets because it was just terrible. And we were still paying, you know, top dollar. So, that's it, friends. In review, we just talked about the Star Search effect. We talked about the unsustainable roles effect. Then we talked about the evil empire of Disney and then deconstructing tours. So those are game changers that definitely figured in. And we'll talk more about it when I'm back with you. And that's all I got today. Ryan Lewis, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I got nothing.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good time.
Okay.
Still my lamp.
Oh, no, I didn't. It just looked this good anyway. Oh yeah, remember we're going to see Ryan's musical directing Sing Happy. So, is it a good show?
CandorNet review.
Is it a good show?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, it's good.
You're not just lying because Brenda's in this class and Kristen's in the.
Kristen's not in the class. She graduated.
She's in the cast.
She's in the cast.
Brenda's in the class. You're not just saying that to hurt, not hurt Brenda's feelings.
That's correct.
Okay.
I don't.
Good.
I don't care about his.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. I'm back with you from here on in. See you later.